And just after I got done filming the Debbie Webster news, some more Coronation Street news has come out. And what to say but an absolute disaster has Kate Brooks had in her first time in charge, as another character is tipped to leave the show after an incredibly unpopular, an incredibly unlikable, and an absolutely terrible dud of a character. So, The Sun can exclusively reveal that Lou Michaelis will also be leaving the show after with her husband Mick. So, another Coronation Street star has made a shock exit from the embattled soap just months after debut. The Sun can exclusively reveal that one cast member's final scenes will play out in the coming months after their time on the Cobbles has come to an end. Lou, played by Farrell Haggerty. Oh. Nope. Sorry about that. Leaving the show this summer. Despite being tipped as the next big couple, both stars are already exiting the show. Lou had been tipped to become the next Janice Battersby by the time the streets come to an end. I've not seen that anywhere, I won't lie. Never seen her viewed as the next Janice Battersby. TikTok star Farrell Haggerty was tipped to become the street's next Janice Battersby on her show in the role of Lou Michaelis, but she'll be departing very soon. News of Lou's exit comes just a week after The Sun revealed how husband Mick, played by Joe Layton, had also been given the chop, with both characters exiting alongside each other in a storyline this summer. They were both described as neighbours from hell when their roles on the show was confirmed, but their stint has turned out to be much shorter than the fans were expecting. A source told The Sun of Lou's impending exit. She'll be leaving the soap alongside Joe. They were brought on as a couple and will leave as such. Fans were hoping they would be around for a while, but there are no plans to keep them on longer than first intended. That's absolutely untrue. That is absolutely untrue. Nobody wants these characters to stay at all. Crazy. What a crazy thing to put out there, The Sun. Stop lying through your teeth. Coronation Street spokesperson confirmed their exits and said Mick and Lou were brought into the show to cause chaos on the Cobbles in the build-up to a major storyline in summer, and they were already making their presence felt. Joe and Farrell were contracted for a specific length of time. Some characters come in for a long time, and some, like Mick and Lou, are brought in to pass through and leave a trail of destruction behind them. Both actors are still filming with the show and will be on screen until the summer. Both Joe and Farrell will film their final scenes on the show next month before leaving for good. Further details around their exit are expected to be revealed in due course. Lou's loud and brash personality saw early comparisons to street legend Janice, played by Vicky Entwistle, but many fans are quick to calling for her axe. Before the news of both their exits were revealed, one fan argued they were the worst characters to ever grace the Coronation Street cobbles. Hitting out the pair, and the show's bosses decided the decision to include them in the show. One fuming said, absolutely dreadful characters, written horribly, not evil yet, and absolutely no redeeming qualities. Not entertaining in any way, awful, potentially up there as the worst new characters for me, a real sign of the shit show that is Corrie in the 2020s. And this just goes through their talk and how they were introduced. So back to me, back to big head mode. I mean, it's an absolute disaster, honestly. It's an absolute disaster. I don't understand what they were thinking when bringing in these characters, simply because you've given them nothing to do. Like, you introduce them as the nightmare neighbours, and they're not supposed to be likeable, but you're also surprised when they don't actually become likeable, because you don't give them anything interesting to do. So far, they've joined, they've been a dick, and they've done absolutely nothing. They have mocked and degraded all of our favourite characters, and we're waiting for the opportunity to have them become interesting, nuanced characters. It has been a thing to suggest, hey, at the end of the day, you need to show them develop in a different way, and you you bring them in with an edge, and then you slowly develop them, and they become actually likable characters, slowly removing down that harder edge, and it makes them much more palatable. But we're not going to see that with these characters because they've been introduced as dickheads, and they will leave as dickheads. It's genuinely quite impressive. It's almost impossible to know how much of a dud this was, and this was Kate Brooks' first characters to be introduced under her reign as executive producer, and I think she's misunderstood the whole point of being an executive producer. When you're supposed to cut the dead weight, you're not supposed to cut the characters you bring in yourself. Like, she's taken her roles as executive producer a bit too seriously. You're not supposed to axe your own characters already. You're supposed to give them time to develop. But at the end of the day, what are you supposed to even do? Like, at least they cut the ties before it was too late. Like, neither character really vibed. None of them have any screen presence whatsoever. They've been introduced as hostile and unlikable, and I would assume that is how they'll stay. And it's kind of interesting to see, but it's also kind of boring in the same way, because they were never really given a chance to show what they were capable of, but in the same way, it probably was the right move because they just weren't working at all. But I don't entirely think that it's the actors and actresses' fault. I don't think it was Joe Layton or Fallon Hegarty. I forgot her name. Farrell Hegarty. I don't think it was either of theirs real fault, but they also have just been subjected to clumsy writing, and that hasn't led to anyone really trying to enjoy or appreciate their characters. So yeah, it's just it's a shame in a way, but it's not because we never knew them. It's like, do we know them? Or is there anything to be sad about? No, they were like a bugging fly. They were just pissing you off, and ultimately now they're gonna get swatted. Fair enough, I guess. A bold choice still, a very bold choice, but hey, at least it's been cut before it got too late, and you've cut it before it became a genuine issue for the show, because only, what, like a few months? They're going to bow out this summer, so we got, what, like 3 to 4 months of these characters, and yeah, like, sound. Okay. Okay, fair enough. If only they revealed this before I made a video about Debbie. But hey, you get what you give. No Coronation Street news for ages, and then all of the Coronation Street news at once. Yeah. So, yeah. It's something, all right. Like, cause the way that Mick leaving was kind of dubbed as, all right, he was always the one that wasn't going to be important. And then now they go, oh, no, and the other one's useless too. Because the way it was kind of made it sound is that she is going to be the breakout star. She's going to be the one who will take this more seriously and actually be here in the end, probably with a whole family with her. But no, no, she's in the bin as well. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. You've never, like, usually producers like to give them at least a proper run before doing it, but I guess that's the, and we can't entirely say that they were signed on like 3-year deals and they carried on. Like, at the end of the day, Kate Brooks, they did sign them to a fixed term contract, so it's not like she wasted all the time. They just went, we're not renewing your contract. Like, it's a big thing where characters are often introduced for like 1 or 2 episodes, and then if they're really liked and they're really likable, they leave you a good impression, then they'll probably go ahead and stay on. Like, you know, Bette Lynch was a famous example. She was there for a little bit, They told her to work on herself, then she came back. Like, it's a pretty big deal when people can actually make this jump, and these characters weren't really given the opportunity, time, or general approach to. So, yeah, kind of a shame, because they definitely could have done something. But if you don't give the fans any reason to give a solitary fuck about them, they're simply not going to. And neither did the executive producer. So, bye-bye, Mick and Lou. You will not be missed. You will be forgotten in the annals of history. And nobody will ever speak about you again, except for probably me, when I say these are probably two of the least interesting characters Coronation Street has ever greenlit and produced. Nightmare neighbours from hell, but even hell's come knocking for you, because you're getting stragged straight down with no real chance to claw back up. Impossible, incredible, really, really mental. Well played, Coronation Street, I guess.